Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Crucible Chat. Yes, it's Saturday, it's that time of the week where I get to talk about whatever the hell it is I want. My name is Mike, otherwise known as the Gadget Addicts. And in the background here we have a bit of me playing around in Dying Light. And not playing very well. I suck so hard at this game. It's campaign stuff I'm doing at the minute, but just really not coping very well with it at all. Anyway, this actually comes into what I wanted to talk about today, because Crucible Chat of late has been a little bit ranty, but I'm trying to be a bit more positive about things. And, ooh, there goes a train. And I wanted to talk about the fact that this year, 2015, looks like it's going to be a fucking awesome year if you're a gamer. Now, let's put it this way. We are in the beginning of April, so we've just gone through the first quarter. Now, in the first quarter alone, we've had Bloodborne. Yay! Although barely. I mean, that was like last 4 days of the quarter. You had Dying Light. I've just got a big release thing here, like, of what's coming out. So, yeah, we had Evolve, we had Legends of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, The Order, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I really enjoyed it. Resident Evil Remastered, Grim Fandango, all these kind of games that have been coming out have been great. And it got me thinking, because I was talking to my little YouTube buddy clique that we have on Facebook, talking to I Am Sneaky, Bansal the Hedgehog, and Bipolar Bear. Links in description. I was talking to them about this the other day. And it kind of comes to 2014. For all it was supposed to be this big new year of the new super duper HD 1080p consoles, it sucked. for new games, it really absolutely fucking sucked arse. It was because of the fact that, and I think this is anyway, the console releases were rushed in 2013. So obviously, it sounds like a strange thing to say, but when you go back long enough, I mean, obviously these consoles have been in development for years, but specs. I mean, the Xbox One, the specifications of it were fluid up until the point about 2 months before it was released. They would say, oh, it had this much RAM, or it had this much memory, or it was getting this kind of hard disk, or whatever. Things were far too fluid. So that meant the games that came out initially, as is always with these generations, they were cross-generational. So, they were designed to work on the 360 and the PS3 well, and then they thought, oh, well, we'll stick a bit extra resolution, a few extra textures in, and that'll go fine on the Xbox One and PS4. And, I mean, largely, some of them did work. I mean, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, by this year's standards, looks atrocious on the PS4. But my god, it was such a fucking good game. And it wasn't until kind of like into the first kind of quarter of 2014, and you had Wolfenstein: The New Order, which to me, that was the first kind of next-gen must-have game, because the graphics were fucking awesome. I know gameplay-wise it was just a big dumb shooter, but I think that's exactly what we needed. It looked amazing. It was one. I mean, to be fair, it still is one of the best-looking games I've got, because it looks superb, and it doesn't push the PlayStation particularly hard. It doesn't push the Xbox particularly hard, but it just, oh god almighty, just the way the game is designed and built is just fucking phenomenal. And then after that there wasn't a lot, because the next big release was Watch Dogs, and we all know how Watch Dogs went. What a pile of wank that game was. I mean, I don't know if you spotted me trying to play it on my channel. I think I did about 6 episodes of it, and it came to the point where the story just annoyed me so much, because the guy who you play as, Aidan Pierce, was just such a colossal twat. He's all about, I'm for the greater good, and to get money you could still quite happily steal from people's bank accounts and all that kind of shit. And that story point, I mean, the problem with that game was it was broken promises, because if you go back far enough, when it was announced at E3, I think it was 2013, the videos they put out of what it looked like for the PS4 and Xbox One, like the dynamic weather and shit like that, it looked phenomenal. And what we actually got was a waste of fucking space. It just looked abysmal, especially compared to what they put it up at. And it actually came to the point where some PC modder actually unlocked all the advanced stuff in that for PC players. So you got the proper weather patterns and the reflections and all that kind of thing, and it looked like halfway towards what it was supposed to. But that was a big... And the thing is, the game itself was shit as well, so that didn't really help matters. But yeah, so, I mean, those were kind of the two major releases. Then you had what I want to call the October of discontent. Because, obviously, that time of year, October, November, is when the big guns come out. That's where all the big AAA releases are released. You know, because they're going on to saying, right, this is what we're running for Christmas. And okay, so we got Alien Isolation, which I know Bipolar Bear will kick off and say it was shit, but I fucking loved that game, and a lot of people did. I thought it was an awesome game. And that was great. That was one of the best looking games I've ever played. Had great gameplay. It was genuinely scary. Phenomenal. But then what else do we have? We had The Evil Within. Technical problems. Boring gameplay. Then we had Assassin's Creed Unity. A giant fucking mess of a game. It was... I haven't even played it. I watched Will Boski playing it on YouTube. And it's just like, oh my god, it's like he had the post-patch release PS4 version, and even the cutscenes didn't run at a good frame rate. I mean, that tells you something. And then what else was it? It was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which has long been lambasted as quite terrible. Not as bad as Ghosts, but, you know, most of the COD community hates it, unless you're 14. And yeah, so generally kind of the back end of last year, even then there weren't many great games. I think about other than Alien Isolation, my favourite game that came out at the back end of last year was Lego Batman 3, which was fucking brilliant. Or possibly, I can't remember when it actually came out, but the Diablo Reaper of Souls edition. But I can't remember whether that was the beginning of the year or the end of the year that came out. I know I got it for Christmas, so I'll count that as the end of the year. So yeah, so 2014 was a fucking shit time for games. But we have hope. There is hope in the future. We are looking down the barrel of a really good year for gaming. I know I've waffled on for 6 minutes about how atrocious last year was. But oh my god, I mean, like I said, I'm going back to my release list thing here. So, yeah, we're just into April, and already, I mean, you're going to get Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PC, finally. And you got Mortal Kombat 10, which just looks so good. Then in May you've got The Witcher: The Wild Hunt, which, to be fair, I know at some point I will be getting, and that will be sucking all of my free time out. I mean, really it will be. I mean, even then, if you're on the Wii U, you get Splatoon, which looks like one of the best multiplayer shooters going, slightly cartoony. And then June has Elder Scrolls Online for the consoles, which I really distinctly hope is good. You got Batman, you know, the Arkham Knight, and Rocksteady have been releasing many gameplay videos about this, and God Almighty, it makes me kind of drool every time I see it. And then you've got 2 months of two enormous titles in September. You've got Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which, I mean, based on the fact that I played Ground Zeroes earlier in the year. Was it earlier in the year or was it late last year? I forget. But that game was so good. I mean, it was only 3 hours long, but oh my god, it was so good. And I just can't wait for the Phantom Pain, because it's been a long time since being a numbered Metal Gear Solid. What was it, 2008 was Metal Gear Solid 4? And I need some Solid Snake action in my life, because it's got to be so good. Sorry, my voice went a bit weird there. And then for the Xbox people, in October, you've got Halo 5. Now, I don't know if you've watched the 2 trailers, the Hunt the Truth ones, but I mean, they're not even gameplay trailers, they're live action ones, and they've already piqued my curiosity. I'm already fucking looking at buying an Xbox just to play that bloody game, because I want to see what happens. I want to see how they've done this, how they're putting it together, because it could be one of the best games of the year, especially if they do it right, because I didn't like Halo 4, but I enjoyed the main Bungie ones, like 1, 2 and 3, and to a degree Reach, although it wasn't my favourite. But yeah, it has the potential to be utterly breathtaking. And there's loads of games that are coming out this year that haven't got solid release dates, so I haven't really mentioned them because I couldn't say when they're coming out. But yeah, 2015 is finally going to be a good time. I mean, 2014, especially for console gamers, was such a difficult year because there wasn't really anything good. I mean, the indie game scene was fantastic, don't get me wrong. Lots of great indie games came out last year, but I'm talking about like the AAA, like your big titles, big budget ones, the ones that are supposed to blow everybody away and like make you want to buy a console over a PC, or the exclusives that make you want to buy a PlayStation over an Xbox, or vice versa, that kind of thing. And like I say, we finally got the first one in Bloodborne. You know, as a PS4 exclusive, it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I'm enjoying it so much. And then, obviously, later in the year, the Xbox people get Halo 5, and that does look like it is going to be utterly amazing. So, yeah, 2015, we're finally getting some good games. And you know what? What would make this year utterly perfect, and this is going to be the last point I make about it, what would make this year just the best year for gaming ever, is if people stopped giving a shit about the resolution. Because there was a news story the other day about the fact that The Witcher Wild Hunt is going to run at 900p on the Xbox One. And like the internet collectively lost their shit. Oh my god, the Xbox One is so shit, and all that kind of thing. Fuck off. It doesn't matter anymore. It mattered when games were struggling to run. It mattered when there was actually nothing to really differentiate between the consoles because there were no good exclusives. It mattered only really to the fucking PC master race who go, hey, well, we can run in 4K at 9,000 frames a second. I don't give a shit. I've got a console, it plays games well, and that's what I like. And you know what? I can guarantee you, if I sit you in front of two TVs, one with the Xbox version of The Witcher Wild Hunt, one with the PS4 version of The Witcher Wild Hunt, they're both the same TV, you can't see which console is connected to them, shown as the same image, you will not be able to tell the difference between 1080p and 900p. So this is it. I'm calling out for it. Just leave it. Enjoy 2015's games. That's all I've got for you today, so if you enjoyed this, please do make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I've been Mike, otherwise known as the Gadget Addict, and come back for next week's Crucible chat. For now, good night.